Hey y'all, I'm Carolina Tony, and today we are here in Columbus, Georgia. And I'm gonna tell you, I can promise you, you are gonna be impressed with this video. We have here a very special guest. In fact, I'm his guest. This is the owner of the Lunchbox Museum and more. And tell us who you are and all about the Lunchbox Museum.
All right, I'm Alan Woodall, 89 years old this past July the 10th. Been here all my life. And I started the Lunchbox Museum back in 1990. And I'm very proud to say that the Smithsonian worked with us even back in 1990. I worked with them in helping them to build their collection of lunchboxes at the Smithsonian back in 1990. But today, just a few months ago, we have been featured in the Smithsonian Magazine's letter and online. And we're very proud of that. That goes all over the world, and we get phone calls and people come in every day from somewhere in the United States or somewhere around the world, right here in Columbus, Georgia. And we're very proud of that. And so I started the Lunchbox Museum back in 1990. And 3 years ago, we opened the Royal Crown Cola Museum and the Tom Houston Peanut Museum and the Georgia Radio Hall of Fame Museum. And we have a car museum. We really have a total of 7 museums, all interconnected right here in this building. And everybody is welcome to come. We're open 10 to 6, Monday through Saturday, 6 days a week.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if you've never been to anything like this, I promise you, you need to come. It's going to bring back a lot of memories. Brought back a lot of memories of when my kids were small, some of the things that we've seen and done. Of course, some of the stuff here was way before I was ever thought of. Some of the things here were way before my daddy was ever thought of. But it's interesting being able to go back and look at all this stuff. I'm just amazed. Do you remember your first lunchbox?
Yes, it was a brown paper bag.
A brown paper bag. Yeah, mine too.
But the first lunchboxes that I bought in 1985. It was a Green Hornet and a Dick Tracy at an antique show in Atlanta. And the reason I bought them, I was walking down the aisle and here's a Green Hornet and a Dick Tracy down in front of me. And it immediately, my brain flashed back memories of me when I was probably 9, 10, 11 years old, laying on the floor at my grandparents' home up in Social Circle, Georgia, listening to the Green Hornet and Dick Tracy on the radio. And so that just brought back that memory, and I said, well, that's cool, and I'm gonna have to get those boxes. So that started the collection that we now have.
Mm-hmm. And then after the lunch boxes, the drink Royal Crown soda came into to the scene.
Right, but we only opened these museums 3 years ago.
How many lunch boxes do you have?
Well, there are over 5,000 pieces in the museum, but there's lunch boxes, thermoses, waste baskets, record players, toys that have the same characters that would be on the lunch boxes that might be on the TV trays that the kids, when they didn't go to school, Mom would serve them their lunch on their TV tray.
Of course, when we walk in, we see a lot of plastic lunch boxes. And from what I understand, plastic lunch boxes were made to replace the metal lunch boxes because a lot of kids got dented in the head by them. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I had read. And look at these trays. We had those when our kids were little. And if I'm not mistaken, that very tray right there, the Dukes of Hazzard, we had that tray, and when we threw it away, it looked pretty much just like that. It was wore slap out for many Saturday mornings watching cartoons and eating cereal. There's a Grizzly Adams lunchbox. Just about everything, TV shows, celebrities, the Harlem Globetrotters lunchbox, Pac-Man lunchbox, Wild Frontier lunchbox, Honeycomb Fooey. Do you remember that cartoon? Hey, later, The Empire Strikes Back, How the West Was Won, old TV show, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. There are so many. Hey, look, Lassie. They're not just on that one wall, they're on this wall too, look. They're over there, they're lunchboxes, trays, lunchboxes, medium, $6 million man, Land of the Lost. Marshall, Will, and Holly. Remember them? That's an old one there. Howdy Doody. Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Indiana Jones. Now that's, can't be that old. That had to be from what, the 80s? Bonanza. Look at this lunchbox. That is old. Look at this lunchbox here. Harlem Globetrotters from 1959. Roy Rogers, sorry, 1958. Here's some from different parts of the world. Look, Mickey Mouse from Japan. Pink Ladies from Japan. A sports lunchbox from England.
There's one there. How about sending your kid to?
He said this was the holy grail of lunchboxes. Mickey Mouse from 1935. Now that is not the oldest lunchbox in the museum because we'll see older, but this is the oldest character lunchbox. Oh wow, look at these lunchboxes. They just look old. Look at there, Pinocchio. And the thermoses. I only remember when I was a kid having a lunchbox one time, and to be honest with you, I could not tell you what was on it, but it didn't last long because the very first day of school, I broke the thermos. And it goes on. Look at all these lunchboxes. This looks like more of an adult style lunchbox with the Coke on it. Here are lunchboxes that would have been used by the working man. The Great Supreme Biscuit Animal Show. That is a huge lunchbox there. Just to give you an idea, there's my hand. That's my kind of lunchbox. Oh, look at these here. Lunchbox, electric lunchbox. Now, how many people can boast that I have an electric lunchbox? This is from 1930. Get to work and plug your lunchbox in. Heat the food up. Here is a lunchbox for a dieter. Oh. Look at the thermoses. Thermoses all up there. Lots of them. So, have you seen the lunchbox that you had yet? It's in here, I promise. Hundreds and hundreds of lunchboxes. Some of them's for sale. But that's not all. There are more than just lunchboxes here. But wait. Now these lunchboxes, what's the story with them?
Well, most of them were there's some Boy Scout and Girl Scout lunchboxes. A lot of those boxes though were given away. They were on cruise ships, and then the cruise ship would give the people that were on the ship those picnic baskets. They were, back then they were probably called picnic baskets or boxes, you know. But then their lunch, they would carry a meal. So if they carried a meal, their lunchbox.
Mm-hmm.
That little
Knee-high cola. And there's a long story behind knee-high cola. Now this room here is the Royal Crown Cola, right?
Right. Royal Crown Cola and the knee-high drink. The history.
Okay.
What happened, Claude Hatches, we talked about earlier, he came to Columbus in 1905, set up in the store, which I've recreated over here.
Mm-hmm.
In 1910, he had a run-in with Coca-Cola over in syrups. And he said, I'm going to go ahead and open my own bottling works. So he opened Union Bottling Works in 1910. Coca-Cola immediately sued him. His first drink was Cheraw Cola.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you've heard about that, Cheraw.
Yeah, he told us up front about that.
Okay.
That was the first drink there, Cheraw Cola.
Cheraw Cola, 1910.
Uh-huh.
And when he came out with Cheraw Cola, Coca-Cola immediately sued Claude Hatcher for using the word cola, Cheraw Cola, Coca-Cola. They said it was an infringement on that copyright. But it was tied up in court until 1927, from 1910 to 27, 17 years it was tied up in court. The courts then ruled in 27 that Claude Hatcher, you can't use Cheraw Cola anymore. So read that sign. Mm-hmm. That sign says formerly Cheraw Cola.
Right, I see that.
That sign would have to be about late 27.
Uh-huh.
And that's the end of Cheraw Cola. All right, then, so Claude Hatcher said to his salespeople, oops, let me get over here. Claude Hatcher said to his salespeople, we got to do something. So one of the salesmen said, boss, there's a drink out there this high.
Mm-hmm.
And Claude Hatcher said, knee high?
Mm-hmm.
He said, yeah, boss, it's knee high. Mm-hmm. So he used the word knee high for their fruit drinks. 27. So
that's where knee-high came from.
That's where the word knee-high came from. And then in 1934, they went and applied for Royal Crown Cola and got it. By then, there was Pepsi Cola, Double Cola, and other colas. It was more generic.
Yeah.
So in 34, they got Royal Crown Cola.
So, but by that time, Cheraw Cola was pretty much out of existence.
27, 28, that was the end of it.
Yeah.
Calendar, 1915.
That's the very first.
It's the earliest one known. And to have these things are so fragile. You know, they were just paper. And to have them is just almost a miracle.
Where do you find all this?
And I bought out 3 major collections.
Okay.
Put the Royal Crown Cola Museum together. And that's the first knee-high calendars right up there, 1927. And here's the last knee-high calendar down here. That's the last knee-high calendar. Although they still make knee-high.
1940?
Yeah, that's the last calendar. Now the first Royal Crown calendar is the same woman, but it says on the Royal Crown Cola. 1939. That's the first Royal Crown Cola calendar.
You got that?
Oh, I do.
Oh, here's something really unusual. Got a little booster magazine every month, you know. And by the way, he sold 150 franchises for Cheraw Cola across the United States from 1910 to 1927. I mean, he really promoted Cheraw Cola and apparently made millions from it. Something very unusual. See that Cheraw Cola booster? That's the artist that is painting the Cheraw Cola calendar, that painted the calendar on the right. And I took the little booster magazine and I blew it up since we had the calendar and him painting the calendar. I thought that was really
Oh,
unusual.
it is. So that's blown up from a magazine.
Yeah.
So this is Claude Hatcher. Now is that him there?
No.
No.
Let me explain this to you. See this old store right here?
Yes, sir.
That's in Peachtree City, Georgia. Now that's the old gentleman that owned the store right here.
Right.
Now you got to read that plaque. That's very important. Read it out loud.
This drink box came from an old general store near where I grew up in what is now Peachtree City. Mr. Dave McWilliams was the owner. I was just a kid, but I loved it. So he told me that when he passed, I could have it. And that's Bill Huddleton.
Read the rest of it.
Generous donor of this rare Cheraw Cola drink box
To our museum.
to this museum here.
This is the one that your grandson said that it was $50,000, worth $50,000.
$50,000. It's been a place for $50,000.
$50,000.
So this drink box,
Cheraw drink box in existence.
only one in existence, has been
And
appraised for
see, they were all made out of
$50,000.
wood. Cheraw Cola didn't provide any drink boxes to the stores. Everybody, they offered to make their own. See where it says drink Cheraw Cola in the twist bottle? All right, see the twist bottle right up there? The twist bottles were around 1925. So what's the reason this box survived, because it wasn't made to probably 1925. And in 25, 6, and 27 it was in the Cheraw Cola. So it was probably only used about 2 years, then put it in the storage room. So that's why it's still in existence. It's got tin lining and it's pine. So it's only 2 years or less old when it was used, and that's why it probably survived.
The design on the bottle
Right.
is.
Yeah, so the design on the bottle is a twist. It's called a twist bottle. And there's the bottle opener.
Now,
That's the old bottle there, isn't it?
oh yeah, that's a John Rod soda bottle, the only one known, Columbus, Georgia. It's got a big R on the back of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's valued at the bottle is valued at $20,000.
And that's from around 1867, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Creation of the old Hatchet store. But everything in here,
We're very proud
original.
of the stoneware we brought up.
Mm-hmm.
The churns, jugs, buttermilk pitchers, and storage jars. Today they're priceless antique collectibles. Back in 1905, they were sold in the general store, for probably 25 cents, 35, 50 cents, 75 cents a piece for the storage jars, buttermilk pitchers, churns, and the likes.
This jug and storage jar was created by world famous Edgeville, South Carolina potter Dave Drake. The famous slave potter sometimes wrote poems on his pottery, as well as often signed his name along with the date. Sometimes he would include the name of his owner or employer at the time. Dave worked for several individuals, but most notably for Lewis Miles. Often his pieces will be inscribed with an LM and the date. Dave's pottery holds a world record for a single vessel sold in the amount of $1.6 million. And you can see there's
All of these are rare, but the other rarest piece in this collection is over here on the left.
This rare, valuable lap charm was made once by enslaved potter Isham Hudson of Hickory Flat, Alabama. Isham Hudson signed I.H. He was a free man of color and was listed as a potter in the census during the time when slaves were not taught to read. This remarkable finding is one of only 2 known pieces to exist that are signed by Isham Hudson.
This is all
all
original.
original.
It's all original.
And this,
And all this wood.
all the wood is original.
1900, the same period at the store that he was in. And that back big arm with the red neons, That is an authentic 1900 bar out of a soda fountain, out of a pharmacy, exactly like Claude Hatcher would have worked at. Now, the only other piece that's in here that is not really 1900, what it looks at, is that espresso machine over there that's chopping brass. That's mine personally. I've owned it since the 50s, and I didn't want to get rid of it, so I just put it in the store.
This is a 1953 Airstream bubble. This is only one of 3 known to exist. Complete off-the-frame restoration. Look, even the propane tanks are all aluminum. This is really a treat getting to see this. This is what camping was like back a long time ago. But look at the inside of this baby. Oh, wow. It is compact. A little bed. All the comforts of home. Yeah, your radio, RC Cola, your lantern, your cooler, everything that you need. Well, that is going to do it for our trip to the Lunchbox Museum in Columbus, Georgia. I'd like to thank Mr. Alan Woodall for showing us around. There is a lot of history here, and it brings back a lot of memories. And I hope this video did for you as well. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a big old thumbs up. Be sure to share it with your family and friends. But until next time, y'all have a good day.